Has/X/ever encountered this phenomenon? Specifically, driving into a town or place one would expect to find a large amount of humans only to find none at all. I had this happen a few years ago when I went with my family to Hawthorne, Nevada. It was a Saturday afternoon and the town had a population of 3,000 people, which is small, but surely one would see a single person. We were looking for restrooms. The McDonald's was closed, the stores were closed, the casino was closed, the hotels were closed. We settled on using public restrooms in a park we had found. The women's restroom had shit smeared everywhere, even the doorknob on the other side. It was absolutely disgusting and I'm glad nobody touched it. The men's room was a good bit better but still very unclean, but we all used it. After we finished we returned to the car. Music started playing from the speakers around town and we gunned it all the way out of town and didn't slow down for 20 miles. There weren't even other cars on the road. It's like the entire town decided to play a prank on us. What the fuck happened? Also, the town is completely surrounded by military bunkers, storehouses, and minefields, if that helps. Not a soldier in sight. Actually have a similar experience. First year of college. Went to local community college, so stayed in hometown. Bored as usual. Driving around killing time with 3 friends. See road and think, I've never been that way before. None of my friends had either. Head that way, probably 11 p.m. so dark out. Eventually come to a town. There are a lot of small farming communities around here, but we hadn't heard of this one. Muncie is the name, population 1,100. First thought is that's a lot of people for me to have never heard of it and be less than 20 miles from hometown of 2,100. Roll into town. First thing is a cemetery, then a large, very beautiful church. Pass police and fire station, same building, then a public basketball court. We get to a 4-way intersection which seems to be the middle of town, and just stop to talk about how this town could have possibly been unknown to us. 3 of the 4 of us have lived in the area our entire lives, and the 4th had been there for almost 10 years. At this point we notice there are no lights on. Anywhere. Even street lights were off. Then we notice we haven't seen a car, either on the road or parked in the town. It was like the town was evacuated. Not one house had a light on or a car outside. On the main road we passed 40 to 50-ish houses and could see down the side roads because the moon was fairly bright that night. Not one single fucking person. Leave the town, vow to come back the next day. Next day we go back and our jaws fucking drop. Cars everywhere, almost every driveway had one. Probably 20 kids playing basketball, turns out there were multiple courts. People are mowing lawns, there are city workers painting the curbs, women jogging, we couldn't believe our eyes. There was more happening there than there was in our hometown. Why in the fuck have I not heard of Muncie before? Ask other friends. Not one of them had heard of it. Never went back. Something about it creeped me out even when there were people there. Something I wanted to mention but couldn't because of the character limit, sporting events. The town had a school and football field. Our town had 2,100 people, and we were in the same conference as every school in the area with less than 5,000 in their town. We played schools that are farther away, and even in the same direction. One town, Homer, was about 35 miles away from my town, in the same direction. So Muncie would have been between us and Homer. For them to have a football team, and us not know about it, is ridiculous. The only possible way that works is if they only scrimmage themselves and never actually play a game.
I've ran into a few of these in Washington and Oregon. It is indeed very unsettling to be in a town and not be able to find another person. They were also close to military installations. Very fucking weird.
Happened to me in Oregon as well. We had been driving since we left New Mexico on our way to Seattle, made it to this small town in Oregon around maybe 1 a.m. if not later, that seemed completely abandoned, no cars on the street, nothing. Only person we saw was the guy who checked us into our hotel. Next morning after 9 a.m. streets were really busy, people everywhere, it was crazy.
Had something similar happen on the way home from Niagara Falls in January of 2002. Me, my friend and our girlfriends were somewhere in New York on our way back to Maryland driving through a snowstorm. We were in need of gas and pulled off into a town. It was around 11 p.m. and there wasn't one light on. Not even a street light. The stoplights were working, which meant the town definitely had power. We drove around for 15 minutes and finally found a gas station that looked like one of the places that should be open 24/7 and that too was closed. On our way out of town there was one person in a wheelchair just sitting at a corner staring off into space. To this day when me and my friends talk about it, it creeps us out.
I live in Wainwright, Alberta, and sometime in July in 2012 I woke up around noon and my roomie wasn't there. This wasn't the weirdest thing because he played soccer lots. I got on my bike and was going to 7-Eleven, which is 24 hours, and didn't see anyone at all. I found this a little weird but just dismissed it. Then I got to 7-Eleven where the doors were unlocked but literally no one was there. I went to the counter to buy some smokes and rang the bell but no one came. I just grabbed a pack and walked out of the store. Now I was getting a little freaked, there was literally no one anywhere. I went to my buddy's house and his door was unlocked, so I went to his room and he was nowhere in the house. I decided to ask his neighbors but none of them were home either. I was really worried at this point, so I went home. I tried calling the operator and Walmart but no one was answering. I tried googling stuff but apparently our internet was down. I figured I was dreaming at this point and decided to make myself wake up. I grabbed some sleeping pills out of the cabinet and sat on the couch and fell asleep. Then I woke up on the couch and dismissed it as a dream. An hour later my roomie came home and asked if I had any cigs. I said no, figuring the 7-Eleven trip was a dream. I told him I was going to 7-Eleven to pick some up, and when I put on my jacket I found the cigs in my pocket. Still don't understand to this day.
Only ones. B 1996 to 1998. Live in Middle Tennessee. Bro goes to live with a buddy and his mom in Kentucky for a while. Breaks into a YMCA or some shit one night. Gets in trouble, buddy's mom says come get him. We start driving. Get there around noon. Pick him up. He tells me and our other brother about taking a shit in the pool. Fuckers all talk, I take a nap. Wake up an hour later. Car is stopped, just me and my brothers in it. What the fuck niggers.jpg. We're out of gas and mom left her wallet at home. She's in the church trying to get some gas money. Probably blowing the preacher.kek. We have a good laugh. Suddenly realize we're the only car around. Streets are completely carless. Noon on a fucking Saturday. That's shopping day in the South. No cars. Mom comes running out of the church. Gets in car. Doesn't say anything. Drives until she's clear of town and we're running on fumes. Didn't see a single car or person anywhere during the drive. Nearly has to coast into a gas station. Fill up, grab drinks, on the road again. It's weird, but none of us seem to want to talk about it. I had the urge, and it just went away. I could tell they were thinking about it. We rode in silence back to Tennessee. I asked my mom what happened when I flew back for a visit in October. She had no idea what I was talking about. My brother, the one who had to be picked up, didn't remember the town either. He's the one that cracked the joke about her blowing the preacher. My younger brother, who's been a heavy weed smoker since childbirth, remembers every detail. Even a sign over the church that said all who wait enter here. Wish the fuck smartphones had been around back then. I do know it was somewhere between the Tennessee border and Pikeville, Kentucky. That's fucking it. I have an odd experience with Newtown, Connecticut myself, reason why I listed it. I have never felt so uneasy by a random town before. Be me in college, Western Mass. Dorm mate picks up a girl from OkCupid, which was not something as normal as it is today. They fuck, we all chill out for a while. She seems kinda plain, maybe a little hit topic gothy. Go for breakfast the next morning and drive with them back to her house. I ask, so what do you do for fun around your town?
Oh, most of us just hang around the Walmart, there's not much to do.
I almost felt sad, so I stopped asking. We pull into her town. It looks like the fucking Sims or Stepford Wives or something. Everything is cookie cut, even their town hall and churches. White picket fences, perfect lawns, so old dudes sitting on a porch. It was quaint, too quaint. We dropped her off, and the moment she was out of the car I told my friend we need to get the fuck out of here. He said,
"Yeah, this place is strange, let's go."
Man, this town looks fake. If I lived here I would blow my fucking brains out. What's the name of this place?
Newtown, I think.
Newtown? Yeah, it would be called something that generic. Newtown, this place is fucked. Only a year later the Sandy Hook shooting event occurred in Newtown, Connecticut. There's something not right about that place. I think I found a fake town last year, like Truman Show fake. Be me. Last summer. Cross-county road trip, hitting up some national parks for /out/ in central/southern Utah. It's getting late, like 10 p.m., been driving since 6-ish. It's dark as fuck, no moon, can only see what's lit up by my headlights. Decide to find some place to rest for the night at next exit. See a town off in the distance, turn off on only pull off I've seen for over an hour heading towards town. Pull off is unmarked and unlit, not on car GPS, no cell service. Town is directly ahead though, keep going. Road turns to dirt road and is about 5 miles until it turns to pavement again right at the town where businesses and houses started showing up. Immediately town strikes me as weird. Nobody is on the streets, no cars on the streets or in the businesses' parking lots. Jazz music is being pumped through the streets for some reason, not loudly but loud enough to hear. This town that looked to be about 7 blocks wide from some miles out has every major fast food chain I've heard of and 7 hotels on the main street. Still no cell service, still not on car GPS. Go to get food. KFC was fully illuminated and unlocked, nobody there. Same thing with Jack in the Box. McDonald's has a cashier and cook when I go there, both look annoyed. Take my order, give me distinctly non-McDonald's nuggets and fries. Leave. Start going to get a bed for the night. Hampton Inn, empty parking lot, third annoyed looking person informs me they're all booked up. La Quinta, person I'm now convinced was the cook at McDonald's is behind the check-in counter, also empty parking lot, also fully booked. Holiday Inn Express, empty parking lot, person that was clearly the fucking cashier at McDonald's is behind the check-in counter, surprisingly they have rooms. Ask him if he's the guy from McDonald's. No, that's my brother. Fuck it, good enough for me. Get to room, Wi-Fi exists but nothing loads, shower, crash. Wake up next day, no breakfast in lobby, no other guests, McDonald's guy still there for checkout. Ask him how to get out of town.
Same road you came in on.
Head to McDonald's to get something to eat. Town is still playing smooth jazz. Still nobody on the street. Order a drive-through. Drive-through lady is definitely lady from the Hampton Inn. Ordered a fucking McGriddle and black coffee, she hands me a microwave English muffin sandwich and what I assume to be some kind of instant coffee. Place is too fucking weird to stay and argue. Heading down the only fucking road in and out of town. Maybe 3 miles onto the 5-mile dirt road notice big metal wire fence on both sides of the road in the desert, meet on the road in a big motorized gate that is open. Soon as I pass through, gate starts closing. Get back onto road, finally get onto 62? That's not right, could have sworn I was on 89 when I decided to pull off and there's mountains in between. Finally get cell service, nothing matches description of town, none of the charges ever show up on my card. I've told some people and one suggested it was Richfield but I know I was south of there and you know, they would have actually charged me for stuff.
Are you familiar with Peace Village, the town on North Korea's southern border? It's a fake town with working electricity and everything, created for propaganda purposes to make North Korea look better to South Koreans. But when you get close to it, you'll notice bits and pieces are missing, and that no one lives in it. There are many buildings in America which only exist as facades. Next time you're driving through the sticks, take a closer look at some of the buildings you see out in the middle of nowhere. Many of them are just facades, with empty interiors. You'll even notice some have painted windows and other features. There are various reasons they were constructed. Some of them are constructed as a border.
Fake cities, ghost towns and ghost cities appearing in the middle of nowhere then vanishing. I used to drive through a road on California called LaPorte Road. Many times have small ghost town-like places popped up as I drove through them, but they weren't there on the way back. People in small towns of maybe 100 or so, just vanish, along with properties that seem to be well kept, but nobody was ever there, not even gardeners. Strange stuff, and on.
Ever been to one of those towns with only a few people still living there? Running water, electrical grid, etc. all for only 10 to 20 people. Most people have no reason to visit these places. Freeways don't pass through every tiny town. Sometimes there's literally no reason at all to ever go into them and no one who isn't supposed to ever does.
That's practically every town bordering King City and Soledad in California. Some of those places are so small I couldn't believe they were even considered towns. I'll add, Kern Country in California has quite a few fake towns as well. However, the story for these is rather boring. The water in these towns is terribly contaminated from mining and runoff, So then they'll build well pumps and then build fake houses around them that look real from the roads and highways, but if you get close, you'll see they have virtually no yards, no garages, driveways, etc. They might have windows but they'll be blacked out or even just plastic panes mounted to brick. Little to no people like there, just maintenance people in the few real model homes that do nothing but make sure none of the pumps fail. Not far away, in the downtown and northern parts of San Bernardino, you'll see the exact same thing, just nicer. You'll be driving down the streets in the city, suddenly see a house on a huge lot with cinder block walls and high iron gates. The houses will look real with all the basic parts, but it'll still look off, with no real front lawn, and no real personality to the house. If you get close to the houses, you'll notice security cameras and hear the pumps running inside. The neighbors will also often tell you that the houses are fake and they only ever see city employees going in and out and city maintenance trucks doing the basic landscaping. Sadly, the newest wells don't even do this. Most will just be a concrete shack with rumbling pipes going in and out, and city signage telling you exactly what it is. They don't bother even trying to hide it like they used to.
Used to? Why not anymore?
The on-paper reason is that it's not needed anymore. People can understand that they need a well pump in their neighborhood to flush spring water into the gutters, or contaminated water into a sewage line, etc. The real reason, however, is, there is a perceived loss of value in living around a pump or a grid junction station, etc. So they simply don't build houses near them anymore. And since the land is already owned by the city or utilities, it'll just end up being used for other public purposes, like a park, office buildings, etc.